Okay, so what's up, y'all? Y'all already know what it is. It's Naked Conversation, and we back with episode 2. We about to jump into something I think is gonna start a fight, but we'll see.
We'll see. I don't think so. I think we're gonna be good on this one.
I don't know. All right, y'all. So the question of today is: she wants more, he shuts it down.
Now, you as a sex coach, have you seen that?
Yes, very much.
Is it as common as some people might not think?
Very much common. Very, very common for the opposites of what we think in especially in heterosexual sex, to think that men are more, high sex charge, and that women are just, low vibration, that women are not, sexually, they like they don't need sex as much as men, so yes, very much so, very.
That's interesting because, when I talk to a lot of my clients, this is the standard. Well, not really. The standard is he wants more and she shuts down. That's the standard typically, right? But I have had a few cases, and it shocked me too because I just didn't know, where the woman wanted it more and he was shutting her down.
Right.
So why do you think that is?
People don't think women like sex.
So you think he's shutting her down just because he don't think she want it?
Yes.
Oh, then we might fight. This might be a fight then.
I think, if you really look at it, the language that we use, bedroom language, is typically men want more sex. I was reading this article one time, and this lady was saying women treat sex like Nike. Just do it.
Mercy.
Do men ever get told that? Like, let's think about it. Do y'all ever just say, treat sex like Nike? Just do it. Is that
Fair
ever a slogan for men?
No, never.
So why women?
That's a good point. I think that's because of the stereotype, like what you're speaking on, that women don't want it as much. I do think that in those cases, it's deeper than just the sex, though, right? I think if a man or a woman is shutting down, especially if their partner is making it clear that they want it, and the other one is like, I'm good, I think it has to do with other things beyond just that. I'm not saying it needs to be other things, but I believe it most likely will be other things.
For women
sex.
or not just men?
I think in general. In general. Because now I don't know if I could say typically men are ready. I would say men are, I can't even say they're easier to turn on. I can't even say that. I'll just say this. When a man is up, he up. You know what I mean? It don't take a whole lot for him to get up. But I think even that misnomer, just because a man is erect, doesn't necessarily mean he's horny.
And you're right. I think you said something there was, statistically, that there's a statistic that say that men and women, 73% of men have said in statistics that they do want sex daily. But 53% of women say the same thing. So the numbers are a little uneven.
Yeah.
And then the space that you speak on is, when you talk about the women, it was something you just said, and I'm trying to think about it. You said that, go back, you said that men typically want more sex. What was that last one?
Yeah, like men, it doesn't take long for men to like.
Oh, and statistically same. Yeah. On average, for a woman to be fully aroused, she needs at least 12 to 24 full minutes.
Yeah, see, by that time, I already rubbed one out. Like,
I was going to say. So, statistically for men is on average, depending on age, 1 minute, 30 seconds to 3 minutes. Yeah. Anything over that, typically is, not, it's, I wouldn't say not normal. It is normal, but that's not within average. And sex typically only lasts 5 to 7 minutes.
That's true.
So
but
if a woman needs
5,
15,
7 minutes of your life.
I was going to say, if she needs 15 to 25 minutes and sex is only 5 to 7 minutes and men are 3 to
30 seconds to
30 seconds to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of women left out of that equation.
Which is why I think it's interesting, once again, that when she is hot and ready, that he would shut it down. Because for a lot of the men who do get it up like quick, if she's like, yo, let's go, He's like, all right, let's go, except for certain conditions.
Right.
I'll give you an example. There are some men where they've been wanting it sexually, and she's been shutting him down, kind of rejecting him, or at least it feels like rejection. And now that she's ready, his I would say his petty, but his protest is really like, no, you're not gonna get it now, right? And he's shutting her down really on principle. Like, you're not about to play in my face and
Is that
deny me.
feminine?
That is feminine, by the way.
I was going. I was testing you out.
That
now.
is 100. That doesn't mean it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad, but it is feminine. Like, what are you doing? If you want more sex,
Get
and then
more
you say
sex.
no, exactly.
Sounds simple.
It is.
So from me on two sides, I have seen men starve women, and I have seen women starve men.
Right.
Like I've
But
seen
wait, when you say starve, you mean intentionally, like
starving them sexually. Yeah.
intentionally, or they're just not in the mood as frequent.
Low desire, body confidence. A lot of people don't believe that men deal with body
That's true.
confidence issues, but that's definitely a big factor about how they feel about their bodies, how they feel about their penises, especially when they're with women who done told them, bad things. They really body positivity is a big one.
Bad things like what, Nita?
That they're small, that you go back to get into this conversation. I already know it's headed there. But yes, that they're little, that they are, incompetent, like men. I think men take a lot of pride in those type of conversations, right? And so when a man has a small penis, it's for women, it's like a no-go. Like, well, I'm leaving you there, come.
Do you think men with small penises know they have small penises? That's a real random question, but you think they know? Like,
Yeah,
hey, this
of
man
course.
right here, this ain't it.
I think men definitely check out other and definitely compare themselves.
To other men?
Yes. For sure.
I ain't never, like, oh, you mean like porn stars or something?
Like, yeah, like
Oh,
looking
'cause I'm about to say-
looking at stuff like porn, looking at like if they're and sizing themselves and saying, well, damn, like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay,
like,
yeah,
I do think,
I
man,
understand that.
because if you think about it, if a man's wife is like going out and she says, we about to go out and have a threesome and I want to bring another man in the room, the first thought that most men think is, you ain't bringing nobody that's bigger than me.
Really?
Yeah.
My first thought is no. It ain't even about the size. I don't want our knees touching, our toes touching. Like, you talk about how quick it is to get it up. Watch how quick it go down when our toes touch. It's over.
I think there's very much a comparison in that space. Men compare themselves a lot in
That's
that
interesting.
space.
Hey brothers, I want y'all to chime in. Let me know you've been comparing yourself to your homies, because I ain't never did that. I ain't never look at my dog like, yo, what you working with? I just ain't never did
But body too, like they, in their prime and they're feeling good and they like, they feel like they look good, and then when they get older, they got children, they this and happen, they're not going to the gym. They can feel the same type of body image or body confidence issues that women can have from the same
right.
things, when like gaining weight, hormonal things like that. It's all the same. So just body in general, but I think penis comparison is definitely a thing for men.
That is so interesting. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Like, if I happen to see a porn flick and my man's is abnormal, I do notice. But it doesn't bring shame to me because he doesn't know me or my wife.
Right.
So I'm just like, he's, as far as I'm concerned, he's a fictional character.
Well, just for the people that's listening, if you're watching porn in comparison, period, stop, because it's all entertainment. So they add on, they cut things on, they make things bigger. They're supposed to. It's television. It's no different from watching reality TV just for sex.
So you're saying porn dick is AI? Got it. Listen, guys, porn dick is AI. It's not real.
I don't know about AI. It's not robotic, but I've heard they have AI porn. Though.
They do, actually. Don't ask me how I know.
You didn't look it up, did you?
Nah, I wouldn't. No, I don't want my algorithm sending it to me. It might have came across a feed. You know what I'm saying?
Let's reel it back. Okay, so we were talking about she wanting more and him shutting it down. One of the questions was, men need space for their desires to be expressed.
Yes.
So
That's true.
we need space.
Okay, let me help kind of break that down a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
I believe, like, men do need space, but I think on one context, I don't think there's like one answer, right? there are some sexual desires that men might have that she's not willing to engage in, and I also believe it's vice versa.
Okay.
And so there comes a point where he might feel like he's not getting the quality of sex that he wants, and therefore he just doesn't want it at all. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I don't know. It's kind of hard if if we're gonna talk like real talk.
Go
how
ahead.
early on in men's stages they learn a lot from porn, and so they want to be rough and they want to be all of this. And when she doesn't want it like that, he feels like, oh, we doing all this slow, soft.
The sex is bad.
Yeah, he doesn't like the sex.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also think he's miseducated. You know what I mean?
For
I think
sure.
that plays a part. But then there are other things where he might want to do, I don't know, anal, she's not into that, or, he might want to, tie her up. There's so many different kinks and stuff that he might be into.
Right.
He might want to get suffocated.
Right.
I know it's hard for women to even understand when we say sit on our face, we mean like put your whole body on me. Like sit, right? And then she's not comfortable because, like you said, her weight or whatever. And he's like, no, I could feel you not really like, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
at some point, he might shut down because he feel like he doesn't have the space to explore those aspects of his sexuality.
To be free in his sexuality.
Yeah.
I think that's a good topic because someone brought up the Netflix series Hunter's Wives and that scene. I don't know if y'all saw it, but it was the scene of the wife pegging the husband. And I had 22 people contact me to say, Nita, is this gay? Is this gay? Is this gay? Is this gay? And it's like, how is it gay if
it's
the
a
man
woman.
is with his woman, his wife? And so I think that's what you mean, the expression of sex. I think men don't get to express their sexuality in full fold because there's so many stigmas around, especially heterosexual men. I wouldn't necessarily say like, I don't know if it's so much a stigma, especially in more of the open communities and the swinging and also in the LGBTQ. Sex is a little bit diverse, right? So the pressure of a hard penis and sizing and all the things that we're talking about and not, no touching the butt and all that, that stigma really comes from heterosexual men more.
Now, just quick question, since you focus on sex, you're the sex coach. So when you say there's like, the stigma, no butt play, is it men or is there like a race of men that treat it differently? Like, do you notice that it's black men who tend to be like no butt play, or is it like white men, or is it just men across the board from your experience and research?
So, more black men, definitely. I think that when you're getting into a space of kink and BDSM and mixed play, swinging and things like that, a lot of those communities are predominantly white, right? Especially in kink, especially BDSM, because black people have stigmas around, like a sexual code of ethic, like what's masculine, what's feminine. We just talked about that on the last podcast, and not seeing it as an energy. They see it as like male and female, right? Very much male and female dominant. And so that's where I think it comes from. And, and then also in our community, we're very much against any form of things just because we don't want it to be seen as gay. That's really what it comes down to.
That's the definition of homophobia?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Well, within the race, I think there is a space of like no sexual freedom for men. Men need to be sexually free as well.
I understand what you're saying.
And I don't feel like they, especially women, they see it feminine. It's a turn off too, just because our upbringing teaches us that if he is doing that, then it's not masculine enough. And so we just talked about that on the last podcast.
Absolutely. I think the question is also, how do you know? Like, how do you know? I'll be a little transparent, right? I don't believe I like butt play because if her finger gets even close, I clench. Now, that's not society. We in the mood. So for me, it's like I don't even see a reason to go further and experiment, right? I think I'm secure enough to say I don't want to know. Like, it might be the best. I've heard people say, oh, it's the best orgasm you ever had. You just put the finger. Well, before she get there, my gate closed. And so I don't think I'll ever know.
Okay.
Did that sound homophobic to you?
No, but I think it comes down to the willingness. And when you are, a lot of men don't realize that at certain ages there is a space where you look for enhancements, right? Y'all looking for all these things, and a lot of that can come from massaging your prostate. So if he isn't into it, and then this can help him stay erect, or this can help him, have longer or have more powerful orgasms. If they looked at it like that, and not so much as I'm clenching up because it's uncomfortable, because I think men, I'm not about to fight, but I do think that like the pole in the hole, right? Just getting in the hole itself is pleasurable, right? But it's not pleasurable for a lot of women. So discomfort or being uncomfortable is not something that men feel often.
I
Right?
I
So
see your
now
point.
we start touching round spaces and they like tension up. That's because y'all not as comfortable with being uncomfortable as women are.
I see your point. I just want to clarify, as one with a pole, all holes don't feel good. Some holes we don't feel anything at all.
But you
In which case we
But
gotta
the
rub
magic spot
sides.
is in there. And so when they get to a certain ages, doctors do recommend, prostate massage. I mean, just to help and just, but if men are scared of it because they think of homophobia or having, feeling gay or feeling feminine, which we talked about, and not looking at it as something that could be helpful and
Right.
that something that's beneficial and that can help please your wife and get you a stronger orgasm, maybe you should look at this a little differently.
I guess I gotta talk to the women who put their finger in their man's butt. I just want to know what pleasure she gets. Moving on.
Oh well, let's talk about that,
Oh,
okay?
do you have? Okay, yeah. I wasn't sure if you knew.
For
Oh, you
sure.
know, huh?
No,
So, please do share.
I would say that I think that's a space. Well, I don't want to talk about women putting fingers in, but I do believe when we talked about masculine and feminine energy that being taken and like
That's
when I
fair.
told you when we talked about that in our last episode or whatever, we talked about like feminine and like or masculinity and allowing it to rest. So I do think a lot of women get a charge,
I see your
right?
point. Yeah.
From I'm playing mommy all day. I'm cleaning and cooking. I'm taking care of the kids, and now
I'm
I'm
gonna take
like,
this finger.
yeah, I'm about to like.
I get what you're saying. Though. I understand.
Not take this finger. Is that how y'all feel when y'all put y'all fingers in the vagina or putting it in the booty? That's not how you feel. You're feeling like I'm
That's okay.
pleasing her. So in the woman's mind, she's like, I'm pleasing him. It's the same thoughts
I see.
that men have, but you do it exactly.
No.
Well, most men.
Because if I don't want to do it, then it's not pleasing me.
That's once again comes down to that conversation that women don't want to do a lot of things, and they do it, and they live in an uncomfortable space in the bedroom, and men typically get more pleasure. You get, you're pleased 3 times as much as women. And that women sometimes don't leave orgasms. They don't even leave with an orgasm. 80-90% of men leave
That's
with
true.
orgasms.
So do you think that's why it might be disappointing to a woman if she's hot and ready and he shuts her down? Because it's like,
Yes.
bro, I don't even be getting mine.
Well,
And I'm ready, and here you are talking about you want to play the game with your boys.
I'm ready. I want more, and it says wants more. So I think that's the space of it. Is a lot of men look at sex as laying down pole to hole, but for women, wanting more could be I want more emotionally, I want more mentally, I want more even sexually, because. To think that women don't want sex as much as men, or to think that women don't want to dominate in the bedroom, not pole like take it to that space, but maybe she does want to choke you out.
Yeah.
Maybe she does want to sit on your face. You ain't gotta ask her. She done shit in her mind. She like, I've been waiting for you to ask. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't see it like just coming in and seeking pleasure. But men come into the room expecting pleasure.
Yeah.
Women don't.
And that's a fair point, because even when I'm joking a lot, right? But all jokes aside, when I'm talking to some of my brothers who are struggling sexually with their marriage particularly, I would tell them you're probably what women like to call a one-trick pony. I didn't come up with that term. Women came up with that term, where there are times where she will say, it's like it's the same sex over and over again. And sometimes, yes, I want him to choke me. I want him to pull my hair. Like or there's women who have like praise kinks, like call me good girl and all these. You just moaning or you're silent. You're not even like and having the guy understand that that's probably the more that she's looking for versus just how you say pull the hole.
Hold on. I think both sides. I think if you're not asking, so the question says she wants more. So if you're not asking, what do you want? Like, I think that's a simple question that anybody can ask in the bedroom. What do you want? What can I do to make this experience better for you?
I want to challenge that a little bit because you're not wrong. I don't want to say that you're wrong with that. I disagree. But there's so many people who haven't explored sexually that they don't even know what they want, just what they've been receiving has been. It's like the women who have been having, vaginal sex and not orgasming, but that's all they've had, not knowing what oral sex will do for them, or if they know a man who understands the anatomy and knows like how the strokes work, and now she's having all types of orgasms, but she doesn't know that's what she's looking for because she never experienced it.
I think you think two things you just said: having someone that's willing to experiment, and another thing was you said knowing a man that knows anatomy. It's a lot that don't. Okay, but there's a lot of women that don't either. That don't know their bodies. That don't know their vulvas. That don't know the capabilities of their body because what we talked about was sex is a learned behavior. So if I've been in it and I was taught that sex, and I go to watch porn and it's just beating them down and making noises, and then what people are doing is they're performing. So now we going in the room and he beating it down and she just making noises, and so they pretty much just repeating what they saw and not knowing that if they really try to explore the body, if they try to not just getting other people to explore the body, but knowing your body for yourself. The woman's ability to have an orgasm has nothing to do solely with a man.
That's right.
That has a lot to do with her knowledge and her body and her muscles and how they contract and how she controls her pelvic floor. I mean, in so many ways, women can have orgasms without a penis inside of them. So technically, she can have an orgasm without a vibrator. It can be mental orgasms. You could use your finger and learn that for yourself. You don't need necessarily someone there to have orgasms, just like men learn that by doing masturbation at a very young age and typically know their bodies. That's why men can have a lot of, orgasms back to back or whatever. Men are actually multi-orgasmic.
Oh, this is a fact. This is what I can attest to.
Yeah.
And the fact that orgasm for a man, orgasm and ejaculations don't have to coexist in one space. So there's a lot of knowledge that a lot of brothers don't know. But luckily, all of that is in my course, Restoring Masculinity, where I do talk about those things. I think brothers need to know that. And I even talk about sexual tension, what's the term? Exogenous zones and all that, how to tease, really, right? All of those things. Yeah, I talk about these things because men don't know, but to your point, some women don't know neither. And I think once we get comfortable just having the conversation, because back in the day, this would be a part of our rite of passage conversations. How to please yourself, how to please your partner, no regards of what it was, because that was a part of not your manhood, but your adulthood. Now that you're becoming a man, meaning you're becoming an adult, these are things that you should know. But we don't live in that type of society today.
These people ain't learning nothing, because that ain't just because you're an adult don't make you know anything. So the question was, how can therapy or conversations with masculinity coaches, help bridge the gap between she wants more, he shuts it down. After everything that we said today, what do you think is a good takeaway from today's episode?
Yeah. Well, I think talking to coaches, either sex coach or like a life coach, masculinity coach like myself, number one, you don't know what you don't know. Let's just start there. You don't know what you don't know. And contrary to popular belief, as much as all the information is on Google and AI, if you're not asking the right questions, you're not going to get the right answers. And you don't know to ask the right questions because you don't know what you don't know. And so we could fast track a lot of these issues by just talking to a professional. On top of that, I think, like we already said, getting comfortable with experimentation. Try it, just see, if he or she likes it. And if you don't like, but give it a fair chance. Not that, he slapped my butt one time and I didn't like it
Yeah.
type, right?
Yeah.
Give it a fair chance. And if you don't like it, respect that, especially if you're in a long-term relationship.
Right, I agree.
What do you think?
I think same thing. She wants more, and he's shutting it down. I think lay down these firm, rules between men and women. Allow your woman to have space to express her sexual needs, and if you don't know like how to give it to her, ask the question, pick a podcast up, read a book. I don't care. Learn what you need to do to please your woman. Don't shut it down because you feel like um, you don't know how to please them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And before we leave, just knowing that any form of rejection hurts. Sexual rejection definitely hurts, right? So any form of rejection, it doesn't matter whether you're male or female.
That's right.
Women get rejected every day in the bedroom. And so I know that hurts. And if you're a woman out there and you've experienced sexual rejection, call in, talk to us. You know what I'm saying? We want to know. You want more, he doesn't want that. What do you got to say? Because I have a lot to say about it. But, just speaking for those women that say, no, I am, my sex is my primal need, and I can't talk to my partner about that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Man, well, thank y'all for joining us on our second episode. I am Lawrence Souffrant.
I am Nita Love.
And this is Naked
Naked
Conversations.
Conversations.
Peace.